Well, welcome to another episode of Low Gear, and I'm sitting on a Komatsu bulldozer. It's done 55,000 hours, this machine, and it's here at this quarry as a display of times gone by. But the reason I'm here is what we're going to do is, this is a big bulldozer for its time, but what we're going to do is actually look at a bigger one. You might remember this photograph from Series 2 of Low Gear when we were up at the Auckland coal mine looking at the operations up there. And what we're seeing here is a Caterpillar D9 between two Komatsu 575 Super Dozers. And you can't really call a D9 a small bulldozer, but it does give a comparison of the size of these Super Dozers next to it. Our show this week is looking at the history of these machines and following the journey of one of them as it comes dismantled on 5 trucks to Auckland, and we'll watch it being put back together by a team of mechanics and engineers. We start the ball rolling in the middle of the night on Auckland's Southern Motorway as the body of our Super Dozer heads to its destination on the back of a piloted transporter. This Super Dozer was dismantled some days earlier at Stockton, and this body has come across Cook Strait and on up the North Island to this point. Its other components are on another 4 trucks that are following it up, and the blade itself will be coming up in a few days' time, but that too is a transporter load by itself. As I talk to Jamie, we'll watch this 575 go back together. With me is Jamie, and welcome to our little show.
Thanks,
Jamie.
Bill.
And a 575 bulldozer is enormous, you just have to say. And we've spent the last week watching this thing go back together, and there's things about it that just, you know, this is like just a little driving wheel on the back, 8 ton.
Yep.
It's just one component, you know, so all up, I guess the thing, what is, you know what it weighs all up?
We calculated it out to be roughly about 172 tonnes.
So as it sits on the ground?
As it sits on the ground, yeah, all put together.
Wow. And down in Stockton, you had 2 of them?
Yep, two 575 dozers. First one came in 2006, and the second one arrived in 2007. In
2006, work must have stopped the day that turned up.
Oh, it would have, yeah, well, the work ended up starting.
Right. And it was used for stripping, that was its job?
Yep, stripping a cap rock and large dozer push jobs.
What's a large dozer push job?
So to pull the overburden off to get it off the coal, they'd push the overburden and up to about 180 metres from where it was.
Just look at this footage, folks. There's 2 of these things together, just pushing dirt.
Yep.
Together.
So probably with the 2 dozers pushing dirt side by side, they were pushing somewhere around about 300 to 350 tonnes together in a tandem push. Yeah.
And so when the first one turned up and it started its job, it was just 24-hour day, hot seated?
Yeah, hot seated. With servicing through the day, you probably averaged out at 20 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Wow. And the other one, when it came, it was the same?
Exactly the same. They both worked 20 hours a day and stopped for refuelling, servicing twice a day.
So this didn't belong to Stockton, it was a contractor who had the machines, and he was hiring them out, I suppose?
Yeah, we had operators on it full time.
So 3 operators?
4 operators.
4, okay.
4 operators. There'd be 2 operators on a day shift and 2 operators on a night shift.
Wow. and at night time, I mean, there's not a great deal of light up at that Stockton, you know.
No,
so it would just be working on the lights on the tractor.
On the lights on the tractor, yeah.
Wow, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah, we're quite fortunate. Likes of Bart, he's done a lot of work on those machines in the past, and you know, put them together and dismantle them when we're doing maintenance on them and undercarriage changes. So knows where everything's got to go and well versed in what's required in it.
Do you get a book when you buy your bulldozer? Here's the book on how to take it apart and how to put it back together.
So there's an assembly book.
Oh yeah.
And so the easy scenario is it's pages 1 to 40. and then when you want to disassemble it, you start at 40 and go back to 1.
Now the stripping, I mean, I just got to get my head around stripping.
It can be anywhere between 10 metres and 50 metres deep.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's all got to be pushed off.
It's all got to be moved off.
So once they've done that, and they've done the coal, that's all come out. Does that dirt go back?
It goes back on top. Yeah.
And it's like nothing ever happened.
Nothing ever happened. They take the seam of coal out and then put the overburden back on top and rehab it.
Rehab meaning put the plants back.
Yep, plants back and shape it all up and make the trees grow again. Not
a lot of people know that. Mickey from the tour guy was telling me, he made a point of actually showing us all the overburden, if you like, and where it's been put back and the rehab put on top. He said that the greenies rave on about this is destroy, but you're not. You're actually doing what you have to do, and then
that's right.
Put it back.
While we were down there, we had 2 purposely built tractors purposely built buckets and same sort of scenarios like picking up ready lawn. With the excavator bucket would scoop a sod of vegetation up, so it's still intact, place on these tractors, and the tractors would lay it back on the ground as if it had never been changed.
In the final drive, when they were putting this machine together, I noticed that there was just a little set of gears, and it slotted over that. If you look at the winches, we do a fair bit of 4-wheel driving, folks. When you take it apart, what's driving that winch, 12,000 pounds, is a thing about the size of a pencil.
Essentially, it's the same winch, except you could winch all your 4-wheel drive club at once.
That's right. Okay. It's just interesting how the engineering, of these big machines is big doesn't necessarily mean it's driven by something big.
That's right. Yeah. The Japanese have done a fantastic job with engineering that machine.
The Japanese, things were made in Japan. When I was a boy, in the 50s, 60s, a lot of things were made in Japan, and everybody, Now everything's made in China, and the Japanese stuff is actually quite good. I know the Daiwa fishing reels that are actually made in Japan. It's just lasts forever. It's equivalent made in China, sort of lasts about 4 fish, and you've got to throw it away. But it's just saying, the Japanese have they copied Komatsu?
No,
have they copied, or it's all original?
It's all original. They've made their own things. They tend to listen to their clients on what needs to be done. So they're very, very mindful of making things better and improving equipment. And we've got a number of equipment that's been in the business for upwards of 15 to 20 years that is still going, and it's only a direct credit to their engineering abilities.
Wow. So did did the guys from Komatsu come down here or down to Stockton?
Oh yes, definitely. They were very hands-on there with maintenance and looking after those machines. The biggest thing is support afterwards.
Right.
That's mechanical support and part support. So they're very hands-on and understanding what your needs are.
That's just amazing. If I turn up here for a job driving a bulldozer today, my first job is to go and learn how the blade works, I suppose, is it? Or
no, probably learn how to clean it first.
That's right. You're on the bottom, boy. Here's your broom.
But yeah, the training side of it is there's a lot of intensive paperwork to start with. Learning what the machines do. The most critical parts are knowing how to pre-start the machines, where the oils and waters and stuff like that is, where to check them, what those levels are, checking all your cap bolts, your track where your rollers, checking for cracks, your wear on your blades.
So this all happens before you start the thing?
Before you start the thing, every day.
Good God. So how long's that, an hour?
That takes probably around about 10-15 minutes.
Oh, okay. So how do I know there's a crack in the blade that wasn't there yesterday?
And that's from checking. So you'll go around, guys do visual checks in the mornings. They'll do a visual check if they hop off at smoker time, a quick walk around your machine, second smoke in the day and at the end of the day. And that's all recorded on a pre-start sheet, so everybody knows.
Oh, okay, so next guy goes, oh yes, that's check, that text, that text.
Yep.
He has to do his own checks.
Yeah, he has to do his own checks,
Yeah, yeah.
and the maintenance crew get those sheets and they go through and they program in when it needs
So
to be.
you said they were serviced, every day during the day.
Pretty much. The servicing side of things was checking all your oils and waters, checking your levels, checking your wear, checking your GET, so that's your cutting edges, your ripper boots and that on the machine. And then after that it needs to be fueled. It takes 2,100 litres of fuel. And grease,
Sorry,
obviously.
I didn't hear that, sorry.
2,100 litres of fuel, which you will burn in a shift. Yeah. So once those guys fuel those up, they fill up with grease also, and it's checked by the serviceman going around and checking it, and then he'll do as a visual check on the machine also.
When you put the blade forward to do a bit of digging, how far down can that blade dig?
About 1.6 metres it can get
really?
down to. Yeah. Yeah.
Gee whiz. And the ripper?
And the ripper's about the same. It's about 1.7, I think. And it depends on the configuration. You can lengthen it and shorten it. It's got holes at certain segments, and you can lengthen or shorten. Depends on the rock that you're going through.
And it does it. The strength in that ripper is just.
Oh, it is very strong.
Nothing
Yeah.
can stop it.
No, not at all.
Then you see some of these big graders going along, and they've got 3 rippers sitting out the back. This has only got 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 2 would slow it down a bit.
Yeah, it would definitely do, and you'd have to run it through a lot softer ground.
Oh, righto.
Yeah.
But 1, anything, bulletproof.
Yeah, that's right.
And it didn't come with a ripper. Was the rippers put on afterwards?
Yes, the dozers were, the 575s came out as a Super Dozer or a Super Ripper. The Super Dozer obviously has the big blade that you're seeing there, and has a counterweight on the back, and has different final drives, which were those 8-ton final drives that we're looking at. Those slightly smaller. The Super Ripper comes with the ripper box on the back, different final drives, and a smaller blade.
Oh, okay, so it's totally just blades just to push things out of the way while it's ripping.
Yes, that's
pretty
correct.
much.
Yeah. So this system here, there's 41 of these dozers in the world now,
41.
575s. The 2 that we have are the only 2 in the world that are Super Dozer and Super Ripper at the same time.
Oh, okay, so that makes it quite unique.
Very unique.
And has that gone past their use-by date?
Definitely not. No, definitely not. The machines are only major components. It's only a Dulux paint on the outside, so if you want to paint it up, it'll still look new.
Oh, okay.
So all you're changing is major components.
Right. So it can start work tomorrow?
It definitely can.
So when we go up there shortly and start it up,
it'll be ready to go.
and do a job?
Yep.
Yeah, wow. And what's it going to do here? It's just going to be a part of a museum, I'm told.
Pretty much, yeah. It's been a flagship machine for not only Komatsu but for Kaipara themselves,
Sure.
Especially to own 2 of them in New Zealand and have the only 2 in New Zealand.
Not many, with 41, and where they have to go in the world, there'd only be one in this country, 1 in that country. Not many
That's
would
right.
actually have 2.
No. There's not a lot of companies out there that own 2. So it is quite significant, and we're quite fortunate that it's going to be able to be seen.
Yes. So how can people come and see this? Invitation or sort of?
At this stage, it'll be now that we've got it together, we'll set it up in an area
it's accessible
for people to see it.
Yeah. Wow. Later on in the year, folks, we're going to be doing a contractors tour. We'll be looking at bulldozers and contracting equipment, drag lines, and there's a couple still working. This machine, if you'd like to come and see that with us, it'll all be on this tour. So watch our webpage, www.lowgear.co.nz for that information. But it'll be a great 7 days looking at New Zealand's history in terms of contracting. You better come with us too, Jamie. Yeah, lots to see.
Yeah.
Out West Tours operate out of Westport on the coast and take tours up to the Stockton coal mine. They also do tours into John Curry's spectacular valley, and for the more adventurous, a 4x4 trek into the Mackley. So get a group together, give Mickey a call on 0800 688 937. That's 0800 688 937. The Wheat and Wheels Rally is on in Ashburton on the 2nd and 3rd of April. This year they're going to feature a display of tracks and trucks. If you'd like to participate in this event, just call John on 03 308 9720 to register. Otherwise, we'll see you there on the 2nd and 3rd of April. Here's the 575 Super Dozer put back together, and it's in working order, ready to go. Going past on the other side of it is the modern Caterpillar D8, just to give you a sense of how big this machine really is. It looks like it's just multiplied. You certainly get a good view from up here.
Oh, there's a good view up here.
So is this so the driver would have no reason to come up here?
Would you still checking your oils?
Oils, waters.
Yep. Alongside, you'll come down along the side and check for the air cleaner indicators, check your hydraulic cools, check your engine oil.
Okay. So like a boat, there's plenty to hang on to.
Plenty to hang on to.
Yeah, that's
You've got to maintain 3 points of contact on a machine like this because you're so high.
Yeah, sure. And that's the donk that drives it. God, It's massive.
She's a rather large engine.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on that side, or is it 5? No, 6. And 6 on the other side. Wow. And I see the air cleaners are easy enough to just undo. It's like a butterfly clip. So what he's checking in here, there's more oils. So 15 minutes to check everything before you even start. There's a switch.
It's a fill point.
It's a what?
Like a filler.
Oh, okay.
So you take that cap off and I think that one's might be part of a grease line.
Right. We've seen a few trucks in our travels that have automatic greasers.
Yes, this is automatic greasing.
Oh, okay.
At the same time.
Wow. The rams on the front of this are also ginormous. So what does that do?
That lifts the blade up and down.
Yep.
And then the arm out to the left on the draft arm, that pitches the blade backwards and forwards.
And the big
oscillator arm there, that allows, it braces to the centre of the blade and allows it to tilt side to side.
Wow. And the height of that blade?
It is 3.8 metres high and the width of the blade is 7.3 metres wide.
Wow. Of course it is. So that's just one ripper post is that what it's called, a ripper post?
Yep, single tine ripper.
Yep. Tine like birds.
Yep, that's it. The ripper, you can see, has a hole at the top, so you can adjust that ripper. There's a pin that runs through the centre there. That pin will unlock, and as you lower it, you can lower it down to a different hole setting, and that can give you your how deep, your depth that you want to rip at.
Look, it's about a metre and a bit now already hanging out the bottom there.
Yep, that's correct. So that's pretty much standard. I'll wear a rip to. If we're ripping harder rock, we'll probably lift it up a bit higher. And then with the two rams, or the 4 rams on the side here, what they do is as you lower this whole rear arm back into the ground, you need to angle the pitch of that ripper
this way.
So essentially it's like digging with a spade. You want it at maximum penetration.
Sure.
And usually about 32 degrees is right where you want the tooth on the end of it to be at, and that gives you maximum penetration.
Well, looking at all these hoses and knowing how hoses go pop, does that happen very often?
It does happen. It does happen often enough.
Wow. That's incredible. Sorry boss, we've got a hose, Mr. Hose Doctor has to come from somewhere, or do you have them on site?
We're at Stockton, we had our own 20-foot container full of hoses and our own swage machines because, you know, due to its location, it's a lot harder to get your hose doctors up onto site. So we'd have to have a lot of stuff on hand. Because you're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you need to be able to do that work straight away.
Wow.
And you can't afford these machines to be sitting idling because of a $200 hose.
No. I'd hate to ask what the hell the hourly rate was for these things.
You don't want to know.
No. I know that crane that was lifting the, no, was it that one? Or no, it was one of the very big cranes is $60 a minute.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be absolutely correct.
Wow. $60 a minute, it's only money.
Well, with the work that was put in front of these machines, they had to be working all the time. They need to be working all the time because, you know, when you're selling coal, is sold months ahead of when it's required. Then the production team has to work out their scheduling on how much overburden they have to move to get to the coal, to get it processed onto a train and then to the ports for onto a ship.
To where it's got to go so it's on time.
That's right.
That's a lot of workings out for somebody, isn't it?
That's right, and you could be removing overburden 6 months ahead of that coal shipment going out.
Wow. It's still a big machine. Let's see if we can start it.
That's right.
Well, Jamie, let's see if it goes. See if those engineers did a good job.
Yes, Bill, this is the blade control here. This is your up and down on your blade, controls your pitch inside the side. This is the ripper at the rear of the machine. This controls up and down, and the pitch of the ripper at the back. This is the left track control, this is the right track control. This is the accelerator, and this here is the gear lever for forward and reverse. Pedals of your brake and your decelerator, and this nice big bar here is your footrest.
Over 1100 horsepower just sparked into life. Bells and whistles are going in there, and when they stop we're ready to go. So you can't give it a rev without something happening. The little fella. Say is wow. I have to say that was absolutely stunning. That was just amazing. That's just a great big huge machine doing what it does. And you're up there with a little speck in the top just pushing little levers and making the whole thing go. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Is there a chance I can get up and move it 3 inches?
We certainly can.
Excellent news. I'm going to give this a go, folks.
Which way do you want to go? You want to go forwards or backwards? Yep. Only one.
I think I might have been born a bulldozer driver. This is just absolutely awesome. When do I start? Amazing. Jamie, thank you so much. It's been a great exercise. We've seen this thing sort of turn up on trucks, we've seen it arrive in the night, we've seen it put back together by the engineers, and now we've seen it start up and we've seen it go, and Billy Ho's had a drive. Amazing.
No, my pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, folks. You've seen it, it's all first hand. I'm sure you've found it as fascinating as I have, and you know, just an incredible machine. And as Jamie was saying, it'll be available for relatively public viewing in due course, and you will see it if you come on my contractors tour later in the year. But there you go, Jamie, thank you so much, and we'll see you all again next week.